Good evening from Saranda. Here's some dogs. So I've been taking Barnabas around in his push. That was like the best investment ever. Not only because of his age, he gets a little tired because of his eyes. He has cataracts, so it's just difficult. I'm starting to see him bump into things, which isn't great. So maybe one day we can get him surgery. So let's do an update. And I forgot my tripod. Actually, I brought a tripod, but I thought it was the right one. It's the wrong one. So we're gonna use my arm. Here's Barnabas, living his best life on the Ionian Sea. So welcome to Saranda. This is the Ionian Sea. Look at this really beautiful like boardwalk. And of course you got all the restaurants. And so I am staying, so that's basically south, and then that's north, so I'm that way. And everyone's been so lovely, and the universal thing when you travel and when you're moving abroad and wherever you are is smile. Even if you don't know the words, smile. Smiles go a long way, or they're universal. And I wouldn't say, this is like a smiley culture, but that doesn't matter because you smile and they smile right back to you. So let's catch you up. It's the middle of the week. My arm is already tired. Here, that's better. It's the middle of the week. I've been in my Airbnb. It's great. I will give you that contact information. I mentioned that before, but I will. And I did extend a few days because everything is looking great with my apartment. So I saw the apartment like the first day. I viewed a few, and the one I knew I really wanted. So that was the one we started to negotiate on. The owner, he's actually coming into town, I think tomorrow. So I think that's when we'll kind of like do the paperwork and the payments. And so just for you to know, it's, pretty standard. It's 3 months up front, and then it's 50% of 1 month's rent. That's like the legal thing for the real estate agent. So completely worth it. So you just to know that in advance is, and you can do a bank transfer. I guess it depends on the landlord, but you can do a bank transfer. If it's from your home country, you can, if you have money in a bank account in Albania, you can transfer it. Now here's the thing, that would not really be your first apartment because you can't open a bank account unless you have residency, and to have residency, you have to open a bank account. So you wouldn't be transferring your first apartment, let's say, for that first apartment from an Albanian bank. So that's something that I will, since I'm going to apply for residency, I will go ahead and open up a bank account when that time comes. And so, yeah, like I said, I had already looked at my Airbnb, my host's availability, and that was one thing. I wanted to make sure like I wasn't butting up against like an immediate reservation. I wanted to kind of see that there were, a little bit of wiggle room. I mean, even though that can change, of course, but I'm just, giving you that heads up that I did look ahead to see when the next booking was. And so I had just wiggle room, just to have an extra few days. And so I think I should be able to actually move in on Saturday. And so since my checkout was Friday morning, that's a really tight turnaround. So I just gave myself a few extra days, and that'll give me enough time. I did request that, the place had just like a good general cleaning, and because it looked great, but it's obviously before you move in, right? That's pretty standard, I think. And in this part of the world, if you've watched other people's videos or I've talked about it, it's that apartments in like Asia, and I'd say in Eastern Europe are furnished. Mostly in Western Europe, not. Definitely not in America. We do not even like have that concept. And so that will happen. It'll get cleaned, and then there's the basics are in there, and I wanted to double check that as well. Bedding and sheets and pillows and towels and those kinds of things, plates, pots. I wanted to double check that there were like some of the basics, because I will inevitably be, buying things that I want, or things that have a little bit more meaning to me for me to use. So that is where that is. So Airbnb, check. Saw the apartment in the process. I pulled a bunch of money out of the ATM today, check. Because obviously, like, there's only so much I can pull out per day, and it's over my limit that I can pull out per day. So I needed to space that out for a few days. And then what else? Yeah, I worked from home from the Wi-Fi from the Airbnb, and I had some live calls with clients, and it was okay. And I did experience one power outage already. So, you know, that's something I've heard before, is that the electric will go out, but it literally is like out for like 2 or 3 minutes. And that was literally the case. So I was on a call, everything went out, Wi-Fi went out, everything, boop, cut everything off, my Zoom call, cut. And then came back on like 2-3 minutes later, tops. So, and I don't have data in my my Wi-Fi box yet, my portable Wi-Fi box for my cell phone. I just haven't done that yet. So that'll be remedied with having cellular for calls and work and stuff like that, especially live calls. So check on having that experience, and check on, you know, working on the internet, on Wi-Fi in my Airbnb. So far, so good. What else? I've had, one of my favorite things I've eaten so far is, it's like they're calling it an Arabic sandwich, basically. I would call it specifically a Lebanese sandwich, because to me it reminds me the most of Lebanese food. So it's like basically like a pita wrapped with meat, French fries, some sauce. Some have onion and lettuce and tomatoes, some don't. Some have pickles, just depends. I was definitely like craving one of those, and now I've had 2. So I had 2 different kinds in different places, and that would be like considered kind of like not fast food, but like just like a yummy grab and go sandwich. Not super healthy, obviously, but super hits the spot and so delicious. The yogurt here is so amazing. I got some veggies and fruit at the mini market. That was the second time today at a different market, and everything is just like bursting with flavor. You don't need to put anything on it. If you do, you put it like salt. You definitely don't need to like add extra spices or anything, like, or if you want to do like olive oil. And I've actually cooked a few meals at home, and as you may know, I make Barnabas's food at home, so I've resorted to like the easiest thing I can make for him right now. I'm not buying like chicken breasts and doing chicken breasts and all that right now. The easiest thing I can do is make rice, just plain rice, and then get some cans of tuna in olive oil or water, and then I chop up fruit and veggies and then yogurt, and that's his breakfast or his dinner. And there's just like a variety, so I kind of mix and match. But I always make his food. Yesterday I had run out of fish, so he got a chopped up egg and rice and some yogurt. So just a modification. He's already I think he's snoring. Look at this. Oh yeah. What a life, right? Don't be jelly. I've had multiple people say, oh wow, I wish I was a dog. I'm like, oh, okay. And let's see what else. So food so far. Oh, gorcha. I've had the local beer, which is so yummy. I haven't tried the wine yet, but the gorcha, just like the regular beer here, is super yummy. What else? I am in love with everything small, and this is something I've always appreciated about anything that is European or European-ish, which is like portion control. It's just naturally smaller. Like nothing here is big or supersized or obnoxious. So whatever you're purchasing, you're purchasing and you're going to consume it, and you're not going to have it for that long. And that's another thing. They don't have the preservatives here. So you don't have things sitting on your shelf or in your fridge or whatever for a long time because you have such volume. You buy what you need and then you go back and buy more. And I guess maybe that's just the old world. That's just how the old world has always worked. You go to markets, you go to the fish place, you go to the meat place, you go to the veggie place, you go to the fruit place, you go and get, your cheeses and your dairy and your yogurt, and then you go get your baked goods and your breads and your, so, and then here you even have, like normal, you have these tiny little markets. In New York, we call them bodegas. So there's like a little corner market that has primarily packaged things, but some fresh stuff as well. And like such a variety of things. And then you have like bigger grocery stores. So I've gone to both here. And I just appreciate small, I guess, and portion control, because I feel like that's how things should be. And I feel like it's just so obnoxiously big in my home country, like think portions, and when you buy in volume, and it's a bizarre, weird concept. Even if someone has like a large family, like, do you really need like a giant Costco cart full of stuff? And like, that's like a weekly or every couple weeks like trip that people make. It's just, I don't know. I've always had this feeling like I don't want my home to feel like a warehouse, like I'm storing a bunch of, whatever stuff. So that's the thing I really appreciate, is just how small things are. I bought like just like a can of iced coffee, not super. It was just like a milk. It was a 2-in-1 instead of a 3-in-1, right? So it's milk and coffee instead of milk, coffee, and sugar, and it was delicious. But it was just like a small, regular, normal portion, and I so appreciate that. What else? I'm looking forward to. Oh, I'm exhausted. Can you tell? Like, look at my eyes. I was even like being a little weepy. Like, that's probably why you can see my nose is a little red, because it's like tears of joy. Like when I sat down here initially before I pulled up my camera to be obnoxious and talk to myself on the camera, I was just like having a few like of those like tears of like, like you've moved before. If any one of you have moved before, or you're planning your move, it's normal to go through, vacillate through like excitement and exhaustion and like, oh my gosh, what about that? And then like, oh, this is great. This is, super. So the sunset, I can feel it. So that's like blissful, and it's that sense of like, I've gotten all these things accomplished and behind me, and I've got these other things ahead of me. And just that sense of like peace. And I don't know about you, I'm a praying kind of gal, so like for me it's all about my faith and my like strength in my faith, my unshakable faith, and knowing that like it's all working out the way it is meant to. So yeah, it's good. It's really good. I've also been like a little bit sick when it was kind of like exhaustion sick. Right before I left, I felt great, and then I could feel I was like fighting something a little, like that tickle in the throat, like. So you need that extra sleep. The body is telling you just extra sleep. So I've been, avash is like, slow down, take it easy. That I already have that kind of attitude in life, but I've really like said to myself in the middle of the day, I'm like, I need to take a nap. I'm just gonna go, back to my Airbnb or what, or I'm gonna sleep in a little longer, or whatever. Just like, oh, I need more sleep, because I can tell also my body's been fighting a little bit. So, but actually I feel great today. I feel like I'm just a little congested. So, but that's all normal stuff. And I'm sharing these like mundane little things because this is the same thing you're gonna go through when you move abroad, because you will move abroad, because I'm here to encourage you to move abroad, okay? And one thing I wanted to say before I sign off, look at that. Oh my goodness gracious. Just want you to like enjoy that with me. There are so many, I'm seeing so many more. I haven't been on YouTube as much this week, but before, the weeks I was prepping to come, I was on YouTube more. And there are so many people talking about moving abroad, or, move abroad experts or consultants or master classes. And I just want to say, and I'm going to do a whole video on this, like there's a seat for everyone at the table, because every single one of us is bringing our story, our experience, our perspective, and also like our values, like what matters to us. And I think that's tremendous to see all the different people who are talking about moving abroad, and especially from America to whichever country, whether you come to Albania or not. and everybody's bringing like their background, their perspective, the things that matter to them the most, or the things that they've experienced. And that's what's so unique. And so if you are looking for support, my channel is simply to encourage you. Yes, I offer a one-on-one call. Yes, I offer a group that I host now in school. There's a live call every Thursday for now. I might change that. So, but there's so many people who they have digital products, they have courses, they have master classes, they have recordings, they have lives. You can work with their team, you can work with them privately. So anyway, my point is that there's a lot of support. You don't have to do this alone. And my journey is to show you that there's a lot you can do on your own that you don't even maybe realize or maybe have the confidence yet. Because I've moved abroad a bunch, I've moved to multiple countries, multiple continents, I've said that before, this is kind of like second nature to me. Like, it's not a big deal. I mean, every time it's a big effort, but it none of it's like, what am I gonna do? You know, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll figure that out. So for you, you might be like sitting there watching this from America going, I have no idea. There's a big doggy coming. I hope we're not gonna have an issue. Oh, I hope I don't have to turn the camera off. Let me just watch the doggy. Watch, pass. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh.